I grew up watching movies, and I've always loved reading manga and movies, but I never thought of to be an actress. But one day I was just going to school, whatever, but then this woman, local magazines, who was making local magazines for Osaka Film Festival, she came to my mom and said, I heard Ayako-chan, she's a fan of Hiroyuki Sanada, and he's like a superstar in Japan, and my mom said yes, and they said, well, we're looking for a girl who can give him a flower on the stage, like a bouquet, for him getting an award at the film festival. So I said, yes, I'll do it. And so I went to the film festival, Osaka Film Festival, and I just gave him a bouquet of flower to him. And then I was invited for the reception party. But I didn't know anyone, so I was just sitting in the corner doing nothing. But apparently there was Shusuke Kaneko was there, and for other movies he made called, I don't know the English title, but Mainichi ga Natsuyasumi. It's a brilliant, very beautiful movie. So he saw me there, and then a few days later my mom got a phone call saying, does your daughter want to come to this audition called Gamera? And I was not sure if I want to do it. I was scared. But then I thought, but I want to see how a movie is made, and I want to be involved somehow. So I went to the audition. I sucked. I did so bad. Well, basically, I couldn't read one line. I was too shy. I was too scared. They asked me, can you just say one thing? I said no. So I went home. I didn't get it, of course. And then the phone rang again, and they said I got the part. So I was not sure if I want to do it again, but then I really wanted to see how the movie was made. So I took the part. And luckily, all the professional people who were there on the set helped me all the way through.
And what was the reason that they called you back? That you first didn't get the part, but then they offered you the part?
I asked director Kaneko-san on the set, actually, while we were shooting. I went to him. We had some break time, and I said, why did you choose me? I did so horribly. And he said, just your existence was perfect for the part. So I said, okay, that's enough, I guess.
So they didn't have somebody else for the part who maybe the casting people said, no, but then he overrode them and said yes.
Well, that's what I was told.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently they did see a lot of people for that audition, but yeah, apparently the director himself, Kaneko-san, fought for me. Yeah.
So about the first movie, was that character of Asagi tailored for you, or was it a character that they had in mind and then they developed it further once you got the part?
I'm sure it was the script was already written when I went to the audition, so I'm pretty sure they already had some kind of a picture who Asagi would be. But yeah, I don't know. It's true. It's a very unique character, and it has to have some sort of, to be able to, I don't know, be connected with Gamera. I think it is important to have this atmosphere. Yeah.
Who would have been so this is your first time acting, who on the set would have been the most helpful? Was it one of your co-stars, or was it director Kaneko?
Everybody was so nice to me, and extremely nice, and I did not have any bad experience with anyone on the set. I'm not just saying it, it's true. But I think mostly what comes to my mind is, besides Kantoku, the director, Ihara-san, who was the young
Yeah,
young man who...
the maritime agent, or I think he's in insurance.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's on the boat.
Right.
And he takes responsibility for the near crisis, so.
Right, and he's the one who brings me the necklace.
Yeah.
So he was very comical on the set when camera was not rolling. So when I was nervous or when I was just, being scared or whatever, he was always trying to make me laugh.
He kept it light.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So then how did it go that the first movie's successful and they want to continue? What would have been the difference between the first one and the second movie, where they're kind of like finding their rhythm and doing a little bit more?
Yeah, so luckily people find me some kind of talent, I guess, after the first Gamera. I was able to work more besides Gamera, like doing some TV shows, and I did learn more about acting, to being in front of camera. So the second Gamera, of course I know the character better, and I wasn't nervous. That's big. So, and then most of the crew was already same people, so it was really, had this feeling of family getting together again. So it was just so comfortable and beautiful moment.
What for you was different about, what do you take away was different about the first experience versus the second?
As an experience, or?
Just any aspect of the film. What was different for you from the first one? Did you feel like the second film, the story was more mature, or just what would your experience be?
Well, so after I did the first one, I became really good friends with script writer Ito-san. So I had a lot of insight about what the story was about and how it grew to this really. I'm sure you guys pretty much agree that the second one really evolves to this realistic way too. And that was really huge learning for me also as a character and as Asagi's growth, like as a human being, and for myself personally. And as the story goes, I love how Gamera just kind of went for it, and it went deeper, and when they weren't scared to sort of like, even they might lose some audience in that kaiju genre because if you get too serious, but they weren't afraid of it. They just went farther and farther, and so I enjoyed that a lot.
The first movie it seemed like they had a blueprint that they had to follow. They need to hit all these important points to reestablish the character, but the second one, it's more of a straight-ahead science fiction story, and they take a lot more chance.
Yes.
And yeah, maybe they're going to lose some of the people that just want monster fights.
Right.
That's that part of the audience. So then, the third movie has a lot in it, a lot of characters. It probably has more characters than the first two combined. And it has all these interweaving stories. What was your experience with that and the further development of the Asagi character?
So the third one, I was in my personal life, I was actually studying in US right before we started shooting the third one. I got a call from Kaneko-san saying, "You gotta come back, we're making 3. So I said, okay, I will. And then Ito-san, the screenwriter, he called me too, and we just chatted like 2 hours, just went pretty deep. And it's also, again, from first one to second one, they went far, but then to the third one, they went dark. And I love it. But again, they're taking chance. And then they did a lot of development too. So between Higuchi-san and Kaneko-san and Ito-san, those 3, and the studio, of course, they really talked about it. And I'm sure sure they had some kind of, they weren't sure if they should go that far of a darkness. But I think we all felt like Gamera needs some kind of ending for this trilogy. And you have to go that far to, make it really good. So I agreed in a lot of aspects. And then as for Asagi's character, they actually sort of like got inspired of my real life that I was in US studying. So they put that in Asagi's character.
Yeah, Saki actually comes back to Japan.
Yeah, so that's inspired by my real
film.
life.
Yeah.
So they put that in there, but that also makes sense because if you think about Asagi's life and if you had that kind of intense experience growing up as a teenager, what would you do? And she has to be thinking about, like, what's my life and what can I do and what can I study? So she would, go on that journey of researching and studying. And so they thought that would be a natural path for her to take. Yeah.
In Gamera 3, Asagi, like you said, they wanted to bring Gamera full circle and kind of complete this story, but really Asagi completes the story because out of everybody, she's really the only one. The focus is on the other character, I forget her name.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's the actress's name, right?
Yeah.
But she's the focus, but really Asagi is the only one who is able to put it all together.
Yeah, if she wasn't there, she wouldn't understand the girls, what she's going through.
Right.
And so that was important for her to be there. And I used to joke, and I think in a joking way, I'm joking, but it's true, is that I used to say, first one, Asagi and Gamera is like a father and daughter. The second one, it's Asagi and Gamera is like a boyfriend and girlfriend. And then the third one is ex-boyfriend. Sort of like, Asagi is like, okay, we're disconnected, but I still know you. I used to know you. That kind of connection is there.
And it's interesting because in the first one, your father, is a character. You have a father character, and it's kind of parallel with your relationship with Gamera. But then he's not in, that actor and that character is not in any further ones.
No,
because it's not necessary because, as you said, the relationship moves on.
It really has moved on, and they just naturally changed.
There were a lot of, so at the point of the third film, I mean, they were really, Director Kaneko was doing what he wanted to do. You could see how he evolved the character, and he blurs the lines between what is, what is the hero monster, and does the monster really understand that it's a hero?
Yeah.
The scene with the little kid saying, Gamera saved me, but the kid's nothing more than like a little insignificant speck to Gamera.
I love how the story went
it's
to
very
that.
subtle, very subtle and very nuanced. Was there, but then, the screenwriter, Mr. Ito, had his points that he wanted to get through, and then I'm sure the special effects director, Higuchi, had things he wanted to get through.